Here's Durbin! Is everybody and their mom doing that? I'm pretty sure everybody and their mom is going to do something weird like that. Let's talk about The Shining. So go play! This isn't rocket science. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler talk retro review for The Shining. I saw this movie once when I was in college, and it was because one of my good friends was just deeply offended that I had never seen this movie. So we watched it at 2 a.m. It was effective, and it was kind of scary to watch this at 2 a.m. But that was the only time I had seen it. So, since we got Dr. Sleep out this week, I was excited to see that one, so I thought I need to go back, refresh myself on The Shining. Yeah, I'm going to give it a solid B. Because what was interesting to me about watching it is it reminded me of watching The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Because it's a very well-made, intense movie. It is incredibly well put together, written and directed and performed. And just like Arthur Fleck, when you're watching that character dive deeper and deeper and deeper into madness, here we are watching Jack Nicholson, yet another Joker, and there's many moments where he reminds me of his Joker from 1989's Batman. Only kind of more of a demented, scarier version of that Joker. We're watching this guy descend into that madness. Now, because it's like this character going deeper into that madness, the rewatchability factor is kind of low for me because it is kind of heavy. It's intense to watch that. It's hard to see this wonderful wife of his, Wendy, and this kid of his, Danny, go through this abuse and go through this nightmare that they go through. It's just tough. So it's not like a movie I can keep going back, but I mean, the musical score is just incredible, how it rises and falls with kind of the mental state of the movie, the mental state of Jack and what's going on. I mean, there was one point during this, I forget what scene it was now, but I just remember the image I got just listening to the score felt like that maybe there's like hundreds of spiders like falling from the ceiling on me or something. I don't know why it made me think that.
Go check it out.
I thought so much of that was well done. So let's talk about the acting a little bit. I mean, of course, I'm going to say Jack Nicholson is amazing. But what is so amazing about him is because he's Jack Nicholson, because he's got the crazy eyebrows and that crazy look in his eye, it's like you see those seeds of darkness in his character from the beginning. And he just does a good job letting that come through. And there's revelations about his character already in the beginning, that he dislocated Danny's shoulder because he came home drunk. Danny, knocked his school papers on the ground, the papers he was grading. He pulled his son away and kind of, hurt his shoulder really bad. So he quit drinking and, has been on the wagon for 5 months. So you see, inside of him is this war between good and evil. Because there was that good side of him that realized what he'd done. He wanted to put that bad side to death, and he quit drinking. And you can kind of just see they reached a period at the beginning of this film where he was doing better. But then they get isolated. They go to this place that's in the middle of nowhere where you can't get to, you can't easily get out of. And in that darkness and in that isolation, those former seeds that were there begin to grow. And so the way that he portrays this character falling all the way back into that anger, falling all the way back into that drunkenness, but this time falling even deeper into it, it's scary how well he portrayed that character. And that to me is like the most intense thing about this movie is watching him go deeper and deeper into that.
I do know. Now come on, tell me. Don't want to.
That kid who played Danny did an amazing job. I loved the voice that he gave, his imaginary friend Tony. It was just the right type of creepy. I think Shelley Duvall did a really good job. My wife got really irritated with her towards the end, and I was a little bit because, she's running around with a knife, but she's still a really strong character because in some way she did keep her wits about her and was able to get Danny away from Jack. And so you see in those moments her strength begin to shine through. The pacing of the movie is very slow, like really slow. The thing that's good about that is it's like, again, Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, because it's about Jack's mental state. As they get to this hotel, the Overlook, built on these Indian burial grounds, so there is some spiritual stronghold here. And this spiritual stronghold is calling out to his spirit, and it's drawing him in. So as we're watching him slowly get drawn in, that's the intensity of the movie. But it does move slow. It's not a fast-paced kind of action-packed horror film where there's all kinds of things going on. It really builds that suspension in your mind. And the one negative of that is, I do think it could get a little bit boring and a little bit too slow, but the positive of that is it really does build this feeling of tension throughout the whole thing. Something interesting I see in this movie, I kind of see this spiritual war over the heart of Jack Torrance. I see it when he has that nightmare, the worst nightmare he's ever had about chopping his family up to bits. When you get to the end of the movie and he's got the axe, this is like, he feels like it's his calling and his destiny. But at this point where he has the nightmare, it's the worst thing that's ever gone through his head, and it fills him with fear. That transformation had not yet occurred in his heart. He's still this good, loving father, and he loves his family. But what you can see in the moment of that nightmare, it's the stronghold that is over the overlook. And it's working its way into his heart. It's trying to grab a hold of those strongholds that exist inside of him and worm its way in. You see, the overlook to me is just this picture of isolation because of the winter and how the roads are closed, how hard it is to get in, how almost impossible it is to get out. And yet he takes it a step further.
Whenever you come in here and interrupt me, you're breaking my concentration. You're distracting me. And it will then take me time to get back to where I was.
And holds his family at arm's length to obsessively write his book. And as he isolates himself from everything and everyone, the darkness of that place is patient. And it is slowly but surely chipping down his mental capacity. It is slowly but surely worming its way into his heart to claim him. But while he's writing his book, bear with me for a second here, it says, "All work and no play make Jack a dull boy." What if it's this verse right here? "The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being." What if that's the light of God trying to shine through his soul and show him the truth and reveal to him the truth? That if he quits obsessively working and he takes a moment to play with his family. What are you doing just standing there staring at them? Go outside. Play. Play. Let a little love in your heart. Come on. What if he had done that and he let a little love in his heart? How much would things have changed had he had heeded that warning, all work and no play make Jack a dull boy? What if he had heeded that and spent time and played with his family? Instead, he sits down in a bar and sold his soul for a drink.
Sold? Just a glass of beer. What'll it be? I'm awfully glad you asked me that, Lloyd.
And that's when the darkness claimed him. And that's when his heart was, in a sense, born again, but from light into darkness, and that evil manifested, which makes The Shining tragic. I'm giving this movie a B. What did you think of The Shining, and are you looking forward to seeing Dr. Sleep? Let's talk about that in the comments. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified the next time I do a movie review, ranking video, theological analysis, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.